Hey folks, back on Devoted Patriots 2 channel. How are all my Devoted Patriots doing today? Hopefully everybody's having a great weekend. It does look like Jim Jordan, after Trump's endorsement, will be the Speaker of the House. We will know more by Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday when they actually get back to the voting process. And then we will be able to deal with cutting up all his spending uh, in order to get these packages broke down into several different packages versus one omnibus bill, which was the very thing they got Kevin McCarthy ousted. And I'm so glad for that. I'm so glad for Matt Gaetz being willing to stand up, stand loud, stand proud, and fight against the Uniparty. And another drop of good news while I'm thinking about it. Kevin McCarthy said today that when his time is up for this term, he will most likely resign and not reapply to be a House of Representatives rep. I'm great with that. He's a rhino. He doesn't do a whole lot for the party. He's pretty good at playing both sides, and we need America First people. And I would bet there's many people in California that would love to vote somebody in better than Kevin McCarthy. But let's first off get back into what I want to tell you about. Jim Jordan answered a couple of great questions that I was curious about, and I'm sure y'all were too, about immigration of all things, and about how the speakership disruption is going to slow down, change, or hinder the process. That was one of my curiosities. I was curious if Jim Jordan would still be able to be speaker and be part of these committees. That question gets answered as well.
I like the job I had. Chairman of the Judiciary Committee, chairman of the Select Committee on the Weaponization of Government, doing the work there. But I do think we have to have someone who can bring our team together. I think I'm best equipped to do that. The 8 people who voted in a way that I disagreed with, we got to bring them into the fold. I think I'm best equipped to do that so that we can then go do the things we told the American people we would do for them. And the first thing I would focus on, the very first thing I would focus on is one sentence: no money can be used to process or release into this country any new migrants. You have to change the equation. You have to stop what's going on there in Texas and across our country. That is the first bill we should do. Attach that to a spending bill and get that done for the America. And everyone knows this is the central issue. Eric Adams, the mayor of New York, is in Latin America as we speak because this problem is so big. We need to address that. We need to get the Democrats on board to do what their constituents want them to do as well.
You shouldn't be penalized for the good job that you did on judiciary, because people, Americans, the Republicans, love to see what you're doing to go after the Biden family and get to the bottom of what they have done with their taxes, if they've done anything wrong, if it was pay for play and all of that kind of thing. But if you do leave, if you become speaker and you have to leave judiciary, what will happen to that committee now? Will those investigations still continue?
They sure will. We've been working with the Speaker's office all along. Many times you have to consult House counsel when you're doing all these depositions, all these subpoenas that get sent out. So we've had that already happen. If, in fact, I get the privilege of being the next Speaker of the House, we will continue to work with the team on judiciary and oversight and ways and means as we do our investigative work, as we do our constitutional duty of oversight of the executive branch. That will continue. In fact,
not only will it continue, Jim Jordan is a much more backbone conservative constitutionalist than Kevin McCarthy ever could be, because McCarthy's a sellout, of course. And because of that, I believe Jim Jordan will be more of a fighter when it comes to pushing for subpoenas, pushing for more information from these three-lettered agencies that think they have the right to keep Congress from doing their job. And I believe we have a better stance on that. And just with having anybody in other than Kevin McCarthy, I'm okay with Steve Scalise, Trump, or Jim Jordan. But I think Jim Jordan's going to get it, folks. They were calling it chaos for days, but I guarantee you in a week it may be called something totally different. And I'm okay with that. Now let's go ahead and get back into what Jim Jordan says about the border, and then I'll jump into a little bit of a statement that Abbott had to throw out there today, which hopefully will help. And as far as what's going on with the Bidens and this border situation, going to build more wall. Mayorkas is saying the border is not secure. It is secure. It's not secure. We're going to secure it. Biden having to walk back his statements. I think they're getting pressure from so many sides they can't please everybody, but they're still trying to find a way to not lose votes. And that ship has done sailed, but they're still trying. They're doing damage control at this point. But as to why now all of a sudden in the last 48 hours, all these border issues seem to matter to the Democrats, doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But there's a lot of possibilities as to why. But my question is, why now? Let's go ahead and get back into Jim Jordan. Just great information. He answers a couple of questions that I wanted to know from our speaker. And I do believe that Jim Jordan will not be put to the same standards of being voted out or put on the chopping block for a vote by one person, as long as he agrees to separate these spending bills. That's all we want from our Congress, to be fair and allow them their representatives and fellow colleagues to have time to actually read the bills. Let's go ahead and get back into what Jim Jordan had to say about the border.
Okay, but at what cost? Are you guys going to start doing the things that y'all said y'all going to balance budgets, getting this crime under control, the inflation that's wrecking them, and of course, the border has hit Texas so much. So what is the plan to get the caucus in line with the conservative agenda that all of you guys ran on?
You take the case to the American people. You tell the American people, we've passed so many good, we've already sent over the border security, immigration enforcement legislation. You go to the American people and you say, tell the United States Senate to take up that legislation. Now, they might amend it, they might make changes to it, then it comes back, you go to conference committee, and then you have a final package that you vote on. That's how our system works. But we got to take the case to the American people so they put the pressure on the United States Senate to do their job and get past the things that we need to get past. And in divided government, we're not going to get everything, but we have to go fight for what we want so we get most of what we want or part of what we want. But right now, we're not getting any of that because they won't take up the legislation. They won't do their job. So that's how our system works. The greatest system ever. It's cumbersome, but it's the best. Let's use the system that we have, our government system, our legislative system, to get those things done. We've already sent it there. Take up the bill, Chuck Schumer. Deal with the legislation, send it back to us, and we'll figure out the differences and get something done for the American people.
So the border seems to be a big topic on the news for the Democrats, the Republicans, and even Congress. And I'm glad to see it because it is way past time to start dealing with this crisis. As Governor Abbott announces a third special session agenda. Texas to authorize arrest for illegal entries, impose up to a 20-year prison sentence for noncompliance and illegal reentry. Meaning, if we kick you out of the country and we catch you coming back through, well, you may go to jail. Says one of them says on Thursday, Governor Abbott announced the agenda for the third special legislative session set to commence at 1 p.m. on Monday, October 9th. He basically pulled a third special session back into session, just to bring up a couple of things. He wanted to talk about public safety, border security, things involving the Wu flu, and educational freedom, meaning right to school choice. Abbott says, I am bringing the Texas legislature back for special session number 3 to continue building on the achievements we have accomplished during the 88th regular legislative session and 2 special sessions this summer, said Abbott. One of the most groundbreaking aspects of the special session is governor's intent to enact state-level immigration laws that will mirror federal laws, which the Biden regime has criticized for not enforcing. Meaning, I'm guessing we're going to go with some of the Trump policies here in Texas. That way, maybe the federal laws may not apply. I don't know exactly how that works, but if this enactment actually works, why so late? Why now instead of a year ago, 2 years ago? So Texas will also pass a law to mirror the federal immigration law President Joe Biden refused to enforce that will reduce illegal immigration and enhance the safety of Texans. For the first time in history, in the state of Texas history, Texas will be subject individuals to arrests for illegal entry from a foreign nation. All licensed law enforcement officers in the state will be authorized to arrest and remove any person illegally entering Texas. That's what's really going on. We've got the Texas Border Patrol trying to secure the border. You got the federal agencies doing everything they can to facilitate the transport. It is literally an ongoing battle, and the Supreme Court should make a ruling on this versus having the states having to actually fight. It's just a crazy situation we're in. But Abbott says he is going to end COVID restrictions, introduce public safety legislation concerning environmental quality, property ownership, and also legislation that to involve penalties for people, including smugglers, people involved in stash houses, people involved in criminal conduct involving this migrant influx, and penalties for the illegals that are told you do not have the right to enter and that are expelled. If they attempt to come back, well, then they will be serving consequences, in theory. But there will be legal battles to come behind this, I'm sure. I'm sure the left in Austin and in San Antonio are throwing a fit as we speak behind this particular legislation. That's all I got for you, folks. We'll see how this all goes down. There's lots of things going on in the news today, but I don't really want to report too much on a couple of things going on. For example, what Biden is doing about the border. I don't want to say too much because who knows what to believe at this point, because all we're hearing is the talking points from the left as far as what the Bidens say they're going to do, or the Democrats say they're going to do. So I'll give it a couple of days and we'll find out what this is really all about. Like, subscribe, and share, Devoted Patriots. Everybody have a great week.